at 3 stacks, and you know I keep it 3,000. But today we're gonna be watching another true crime video. You know what I'm saying? It's True Crime Tuesday. So it says killer wife realizes police found husband's dead body. I think that's enough said. So let's get right into it.
Alright, here's the deal. You're being charged for murder. I never put my hands on it again.
This is 37-year-old Nicole Woodard. Just 48 hours ago, police discovered her husband, Daniel Rayburn, brutally beaten and deceased in the yard of his own home.
Neighbors said that they heard some subjects arguing and possibly one gunshot last night.
At first, detectives believed this tragedy was the result of a robbery, but they would be horribly wrong. As the weeks-long investigation began, detectives would uncover a toxic relationship and a twisted conspiracy with Nicole at the very center of it all.
Whose DNA is going to be on that gun? Now's the time you need to tell me, because there's not going to be another opportunity.
On July 4th, officers in Dublin, Georgia received a disturbing call. A passing motorcyclist reported seeing a motionless body on the front lawn of a nearby house and urgently requested a welfare check. When first responders arrived at the scene, it quickly became clear the man was already beyond saving.
How y'all doing?
Blood come across his arm right there. He's laying like somebody, he was attacked or shot or something.
As first responders took a closer look, the disturbing condition of the man's body became clear. His skin was covered in bruises, insects crawled across his face, and most troubling, a gunshot wound was clearly visible at the back of his head. Even more telling was the stiffness of his body, clearly indicating he'd been dead for several hours. To the officers on scene, one thing was immediately clear. This was a homicide, and they needed to figure out who this man was and why he was so brutally killed. Luckily, it wouldn't take long before officers began uncovering crucial details.
Do we even know his? We don't know his name, do we?
Yeah, we ran it. That's as far as that.
Okay.
We haven't positively identified him.
26 radio. Off that 28 that was ran at this location, who would come back to?
26 that come back to a Daniel Rayburn. That one, it has a Eagle Ballpark address.
The victim was quickly identified as Daniel Rayburn, a 40-year-old father and the homeowner himself. With this in mind, officers would approach Daniel's neighbors, who would reveal information that would prove crucial to solving this case later on.
26 radio 09 is clear.
I'm so sorry. Have y'all been home all day?
All day.
Been to the grocery store.
Have y'all heard anything over there?
No.
Like today?
By yourself, or do you know?
A lady lives there.
Lady lives there.
There's a man deceased in her yard.
He what?
Yeah, he's dead right there.
In her yard?
Yeah.
Oh, my
Is he black? Daughter said
she heard somebody arguing
last night.
Last night.
He said, who you calling? Call me another one. And she said, Mama, it wasn't firecrackers. She said it was a gun.
Come here. You see his body?
Oh, talking about right here near the front?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
This
So-
lady lives there with him.
I mean, she can't, that's the same lady that came
She said her name is Nicole.
Nicole?
Yeah.
Is she younger, older, or?
She's younger than us. So I'm 43, so she might be in her early 30s, early to mid 30s. Oh, who found him?
Some passerbys just come by. He's been there for a while. Neighbor across the road heard some arguments over here, and about 1 a.m. heard one shot. There's supposed to be a female that resides here by the name of Nicole. White female.
You know.
See if she's inside.
Yes. We'll knock on the door and then see if it's unlocked. We can stick and we do a welfare check.
Officers didn't know who Nicole was yet, but she would become a very familiar figure over the coming days. Without wasting any time, officers moved to search Daniel's home, and what they would find inside would soon blow the case wide open. But before we continue, it's worth noting that situations like these can be extremely distressing, not only for those directly that you need help with mental health. Let's get back to the investigation. Officers were about to search Daniel's home, aware there could be another victim or even someone dangerous hiding inside.
There's the door locked. Unlocked.
All units radio is 10-3.
Police department.
Police department.
Police department. All right, so female's gone. You got a female name? Clear.
All we know is it's a white female by the name of Nicole. Yes. Right here. Nicole Woodard.
Fortunately for officers, the house turned out to be empty, with no visible signs of violence or struggle inside. However, they did uncover one crucial clue, a letter revealing Nicole's full identity. Brenda Lee Nicole Woodard, Daniel's wife. This discovery immediately opened up new leads for investigators, but officers were about to catch another clue. One of the paramedics on the scene would recall encountering a woman with the exact same name just hours earlier.
What y'all know about it?
I don't think the neighbors saying that they heard subjects arguing last night and a possible one gunshot.
Hey, see if here or...
Yeah, they said it's supposed to be a white female staying with them. First name by Nicole. We went in and cleared it. Nobody ain't in there, but it's a letter in there with her name on a piece of paper with Nicole Woodard on it.
That name, we just picked up a person at Applebee's with the same name, 37 years old.
Had a seizure, throwing up.
According to the paramedic, 37-year-old Brenda Lee Nicole Woodard had been working at a nearby Applebee's when she suffered a seizure and was rushed to the ER earlier that day. To detectives, this timing felt a little too convenient. Nicole's medical emergency occurred just hours after Daniel's brutal murder, potentially giving her an alibi to distance herself from the crime. If this was, in fact, Nicole's plan, it wouldn't work out very well. Officers were now able to easily locate her at the hospital and question her regarding the actions leading up to Daniel's death. Since her injuries were minor, she was quickly transferred to the station for questioning.
Did he have any friends that came over to visit?
Once in a blue moon, we'd go over and hang out with Tim and Sylvia, but we hadn't seen them in a couple of months.
Other than that, you can't tell me anything else that you might know? Because he was out in the yard when he was found in the yard this afternoon before they called, about the after they called you. He was found out in the yard.
Nobody called me.
I mean, how did they get in contact with you?
The officers showed up at the hospital.
I'm saying you got in contact. They got in contact with you at the hospital.
Oh.
Okay. So other than that, you hadn't seen him none before that.
I hadn't seen him at all today.
Even though Nicole insisted she had no idea what happened to Daniel that night, her demeanor told the detective a different story. Her shaky voice and uneven answers indicated extreme nervousness. She seemed on edge, uncomfortable, and far from natural. These subtle cues could mean one of two things. Either Nicole was genuinely shocked to learn that Daniel was killed, or she was hiding something. This detective strongly suspected the latter and intended to find out exactly what Nicole was holding back.
And you don't know anybody that might have been he's had problems with or was giving him problems, anything like that? No, how was he on the job? I mean, he had problems on the job, anything like that? That you know of? I mean, we don't know if anybody actually done anything to him or whether he might have just fell and passed out or whatever. That's why I asked you how much did he drink last night?
I don't know.
Well, you said you drank a bottle.
I was drinking last night.
What was he drinking?
He was drinking beer, sir.
Has he ever drunk alcohol to the point where he would fall out?
Yes, I told you. But he hadn't drank like that since. I mean, he might drink 2 or 3.
Well, if that's all, if that's it, is there anything that you tell him?
According to Nicole, she and Daniel had been drinking the night before when a verbal argument escalated into a physical altercation. However, she still insisted that he was alive and well when she left. Ultimately, detectives weren't able to get any useful information from Nicole and had no choice but to let her go. However, unbeknownst to Nicole, this was only the beginning of a very long week. Back at the crime scene, officers continued collecting evidence to determine who had been at the home at around 1 a.m. Now, with a search warrant in hand, officers moved into Daniel's home, hoping it would hold the evidence they desperately needed.
Go ahead and lock this door back.
I know the pastor out there, Danny, he said he's been counseling them. I guess they've been.
Oh, they've been having a problem because she said that they told us that we do.
Looks like she cleared her stuff out.
Yeah, that's why I ain't seen no female stuff in there.
They got listed leggings.
Either none was in here.
Well, it's got listed as
But either way,
shorts and capris,
she said that
leggings, comfort fits, pants.
Like I said, the place ain't tore, ain't no blood nowhere, except out there.
Unfortunately for officers, no evidence was found inside the home. With that in mind, officers expanded their search to the property outside, and that's when they made a critical discovery.
Hey, Cole, did that piece of dread?
Yeah, taken out earlier.
Security James Summers about subject trying to find food security with bottles.
A severed dreadlock was found just feet away.
Oh my God, there's always a black person in this, bro. Why can't it ever just be a white person crime, bro? It's always a black person. Alright, let's guess. There's a black dude. For some reason, you know what I'm saying, black dudes, they love them some bigger white women, bro. So the black dude is messing with cub wife, right? Then after bro found out, they get into a heated argument. Then she called the black dude, and he come up and shoot bro. We better check back in by the end of the video. We gonna see.
From where Daniel was killed. The hair clearly didn't match Daniel or Nicole's hair type, confirming that someone else besides Nicole was present that night. Detectives now needed to identify who this unknown person was and figure out if Nicole might know who he is. But while detectives were finishing up their search at Daniel's home, his family arrived at the scene and officers had to break the tragic news.
Hello. Hello. How's it going? All right. Can I help y'all with something?
Yeah, this is my son.
Hey, Mr. Dan. How's it going?
Go.
Doing all right?
Yeah, I remember you, but I can't remember your name right now.
Matthew Allred. We had pacifier see somebody laying down, and they called me out here, and that's when I seen him. Was he married or anything?
He was living with a woman.
What was that woman's name?
Nicole Water. What to call Poison Beach. Excuse me.
Although the family's comments about Nicole were somewhat vague, one thing became clear. Daniel and Nicole likely had a deeply troubled relationship, but suspicions alone weren't enough, and officers needed solid evidence if they were going to identify Daniel's killer. Before wrapping up for the day, investigators would review surveillance footage from the neighbors across the street and spotted Nicole leaving in her dad's car earlier that morning. Additionally, when police analyzed Nicole's phone records, they discovered that she had placed a call shortly before Daniel's murder. With suspicions now firmly centered on Nicole, investigators began questioning her acquaintances to find out what they knew about her troubled, deteriorating relationship with Daniel and potential involvement in his death. That's when they first heard the name Misty Edge, a friend of Nicole's who, as it turned out, had received a visit from her just hours after the murder.
Mine's just so on the back up. Mine is us.
They ain't gonna bite, are they?
No, they ain't
Get 'em up.
gonna tell John and them to
All
come
right.
around. Hang on just a second.
How are you?
I'm good.
This is Misty Edge, Nicole's friend and co-worker. She reached out to police claiming Nicole had shown up at her house early the previous morning, acting strangely and carrying several bags. When detectives arrived at Misty's house, they never expected the shocking details she was about to share.
Okay, well, she messaged me the other night. It was a ring still available, and I said, yeah, that he had been beaten on her and stuff. She called me around 5 o'clock that morning. She said she was very confused, that she didn't know what was going on, that front door was open, that his car was still crunk, everything.
The front door was open?
Yeah. We come back and she felt she was still drunk. She fell asleep on the couch. And I really feel like she was coming off of something. You ain't just gonna sit here and make yourself shake for no reason.
Right.
I really feel like she was trying to hide something from me.
This description of Nicole's demeanor sounded eerily familiar to how she behaved in the interview room earlier. According to Misty, Nicole was visibly shaking, nervous, and clearly on edge, as if she was hiding something. Whatever Nicole had seen or knew clearly made her unstable, possibly explaining her sudden seizure and fainting earlier that day. But what detectives quickly realized was that Misty herself knew far more than she initially let on, and for reasons of her own, she decided to drop the biggest bombshell yet.
Let me ask you this, when did she tell you about Daniel?
She told me that she had made a phone call.
And what?
Get rid of that. She also said she wants him dead, but then she don't want him dead. She walks in my front door and was like, Misty, hit me in my eye. I said, what? Hit me in my eye. I said, no, I'm not doing that. Because that's not me. I don't have nothing. I have no record. No, I've been good my whole life. So no, that's not me. She said she needs an alibi.
Detectives now had a testimony supporting their...
Well, I mean, we already know what happened, but like, bro, I didn't see where this black dude come in. And I ain't gonna lie, he already got dreads. I swear to, bro, if this black dude look remotely like any of my friends, bro, God help us all.
Their suspicions that Nicole was at the house around the time Daniel was killed. Even worse.
Wait, that sounds crazy. I'm not an alibi. I mean, I don't know, but I'm not, yeah.
Nicole supposedly made some phone calls to, quote, take Daniel out. Not only had she likely witnessed the murder, but she may have even coordinated it. It was time to find Nicole. This time, there would be no walking away.
How are you?
Here.
The next day, investigators set up a meeting with Nicole at her sister's house, prepared to see just how much her story would hold up under pressure. The goal was to pressure her into revealing the names of the people she called that night, and what exactly she had told them.
All right, here's the deal. You know why we're here?
Yes, ma'am. Then, unfortunately,
What are we here about?
Daniel and him not being here anymore. And y'all suspect because of the fact that me and him have been fussing and fighting and stuff so much lately that I may have had something to do with it, and I swear I don't. I mean, I've told him at times, yeah, you're gonna keep on beat your ass or some shit like that, but I swear I've never put my hands on him. The furthest I've done is I've pushed him backwards. I've never put my hands on him, and I never would. He's the one that beat the crap out of me back in November. I was in Wings.
Although detectives hadn't openly accused Nicole of anything yet, she immediately began defending herself, almost as if she knew suspicion would inevitably fall on her. Her husband had just been brutally murdered, yet Nicole seemed less concerned with helping the investigation and more focused on clearing her name.
Has anything been physical since then?
No. I mean, we screamed and hollered at each other a little bit and sent some nasty messages back and forth. The thing with us, I mean, if we were not gurring at each other, there was something wrong.
As Nicole painted a harrowing picture of domestic abuse, her explanation seemed carefully chosen to cast Daniel in a negative light, almost as if she had hoped investigators would see her as the victim. And while parts of her story may indeed be true, detectives sensed that she was subtly deflecting blame and possibly laying the groundwork for a future legal defense. But investigators would see right through this tactic, and it only made them push harder to uncover what Nicole was really hiding.
Ray, how did he die? You just said,
We fussing and fighting. I don't know.
But you just said just a second ago, you know, while we're here, you think we have to do with it.
I've been told 3 different things. I've been told he may have had a heart attack in the yard. I've been told he was beat up. And I've been told that they don't know what the hell happened, just that he was found in the yard.
Why do we know more?
I don't. Listen to me. Listen to me. It's always better. And I know you talked to the detective the other day. It's true. But things have changed. And we know some stuff that you did. We need you to come forward and tell the truth. I mean, I've called and talked to people and stuff, and I've told them at times, I love him, I hate him, get me out of here, stuff like that, but I've never hurt him, I swear. I would never put my hands on him.
Listen.
Like, do y'all hear her? She's saying, I would never put my hands on him. Real rap, she probably didn't put her hands on him, like, but somebody did come and put their hands on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's being real tactical. She looks like an idiot, but she's being real tactical on the stuff that she says. Because technically, she probably not lying, but she not telling the truth either. And that is what we call a loophole.
Timmy, look at me. Look at me. Like Sergeant Rose just told you, we know more. We want to hear your side.
And I'm telling y'all, I didn't
I
hurt
know
him.
you were saying.
I did not touch him. I did not go, hell, I did not.
You know who did. And it's time for you to tell us who did this to him.
The stress was clearly getting to Nicole. Detectives made it obvious they knew she wasn't telling them everything, and the pressure was starting to show. Visibly nervous and beginning to break, Nicole was about to give detectives exactly what they came here for.
I suspect that my foster brother may have had or adopted brother may have had something to do with it, because I did call them and I did ask them for help to get me out of there.
Why do you suspect that he had something to do with it?
Because they've all said before, if he kept on hurting me, they were going to do something. And the last time that we had a fight, they come up, he bitched him out, and that was it.
Randy, we know that you have made a phone call to somebody.
I called Pops, which is Hewlett Reed, and I asked him if he would come over and calm me down and stuff. And I called Andrew and Tom and told them to come over and find out what was going on. And Andrew and Tom said they couldn't get there anytime soon.
Why were you wanting them to come over there? What were you wanting them to take care of?
Not him, not like that. I swear, nothing like that.
That's what you just said.
I wanted them to calm him down.
What is that? Not like that. We know you said.
I didn't want them to hurt. No, I did not.
All right, so what?
I did not.
Listen, there was camera footage across the street, so let's talk about it, okay?
I never saw anything happen. I heard him out there fussing and stuff, and then they left.
Listen to me. You know more about what happened.
I have my suspicions, but I don't want to accuse anybody of anything.
You know more about what happened. Now, you give us the runaround already.
No.
You have. And that points fingers at you. That raises red flags with you.
Nicole would finally loosen up a bit, giving detectives a couple of names. But that alone wasn't enough. Detectives still needed to find out who actually pulled the trigger.
What did you see and what did you hear?
I heard shouting, and I've heard all the fireworks and all that shit. That is all I've heard.
What kind of shouting?
You called something and ordered something on that phone.
What did I order? Because I haven't ordered anything.
Why do you think the guys would have come over there and done something?
Because he was being an asshole to me again. I mean, I just told him, I said, y'all just get him to stop. Y'all, I can't take it anymore. Y'all can get me. Y'all just get me out of here.
Don't you want justice for him?
Yes, that's why I'm telling you.
He was left laying in the yard.
This is why I'm telling you. I'm giving you the names that I have. Do I need a lawyer?
Despite Nicole bringing up her right to legal counsel, detectives weren't ready to give up yet and moved in closer, physically encircling her and increasing the pressure. And it's a good thing they did, because Nicole was seconds away from finally breaking down and confessing.
I called them and told them to come beat his ass. I was fucking tired of the bullshit. But I didn't think that they would do it. They've never done it before, and then I was scared. And I didn't know that he was dead. I swear to God, I did not know that he was fucking dead. I did not.
Yo, put your teeth back in your mouth. I'm tired of seeing your rotten teeth. You over here crying and carrying on, bro. You did all of this stuff, bro. Ain't no crying, boo. It's cool, though. The teeth gonna get fixed in jail. You know what I'm saying? A few might end up on the floor, real rap. Shoot.
Maybe they're just
fucking robbed him up.
Breathe.
They just robbed him up a little bit and they come in a little while. That's why I fucking stayed in the house. I figured he would come in and he'd be like, yeah, your brother fucking beat my ass. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie, but I was scared. And they had already told me before that if they beat him up, they got told on I was in trouble. But like I said, they never did it before, and I've told him multiple times, y'all just gonna beat his ass. I'm fucking tired of it, and nobody ever did. The only thing that's ever happened was I ended up calling the cops.
Did you go out and check on him and make sure he was all right?
No, I did not.
Did you see him out in the yard?
I did not.
You're almost there. You got about 10-15% that you're not telling us of what happened after the fact.
No, I don't.
You got 1 or 2 more.
I promise I don't. None that I know of.
Just sit there and think about it.
Even if parts of Nicole's story were true, her overwhelming emotional reaction seemed driven more by panic and fear than genuine sorrow. And by now, detectives had everything they needed to move forward, and Nicole would be arrested and taken to prison. While officers had enough evidence for an arrest and were nearly certain of Brandalee's involvement in the murder, whether she had actually wanted Daniel dead remained unclear. To solve this, detectives now turned their attention to Thomas Harper and Andrew Huber, the 2 men Nicole claimed carried out the attack. Fortunately, locating them didn't take long, and due to their high likelihood of involvement, both men would be arrested immediately and questioned the very next day. During their arrest, police discovered a piece of clothing with bloodstains at Andrew Huber's residence. After running a DNA test, this would prove to be Daniel's blood, confirming that Andrew was present that night, and he would be charged with murder. Still, there was one person left, and a final nail in the coffin for Nicole, her adopted brother, Thomas Harper. During his arrest, officers discovered a handgun along with 4 spent casings directly matching the bullet fired into Daniel's head. On top of that, the dreadlock found at the crime scene would turn out to be a direct match to Thomas himself.
Well, I was right, but I was wrong. He technically, you know what I'm saying, he did have something to do with it. Probably shot a trigger, stuff like that. But thank God, it wasn't one of those situations where he was in love with her. That was just a foster brother. So we can, round of applause for that. Let's finish the video.
Neither Andrew nor Thomas ever claimed Nicole was outside during the fight. However, police could confirm that Nicole had seen Daniel leave and heard gunshots. Yet she never checked on him and never called 911. Instead, she simply walked away, choosing to protect Andrew and Thomas. This, paired with Misty's disturbing witness statement and the phone logs confirming the timeline, was more than enough evidence for police. Nicole may not have pulled the trigger herself, but she set it all into motion, and because of her actions, Daniel was killed. In the end, justice caught up with all 3. Andrew Huber was convicted of felony murder and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Nicole and Thomas Harper both pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter, likely receiving sentences ranging anywhere from 10 to 20 years in prison for their roles in Daniel's brutal death.
That's it? That's it? So bro get life and they get 10 to 20 years? Okay, well, you know what I'm saying? This is real good, bro. I rock with y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? My dogs, I rock with y'all, man. Thank y'all for watching another video of me. And stay 3,000. I love y'all, man. On to the next one.
I got big packs coming on the way. I got big stacks coming out to save. I got Lil Max with me, he the wave. It's a big gap between us in the game. In the next life, I'm trying to stay paid. When I die, put my money